Okay, we're back to Shooting It Straight. This is a second segment or part two of I don't know how many parts or segments of my frequently asked questions. My first segment, I think it went pretty well. People seemed to respond to it pretty well. So I thought, let's do another one and see how that turns out. And again, the questions came from people that I know, my friends, some family members that are gun enthusiasts, cops that I used to work with that are now training others, and people like that. So let's do another quick video of some. Whether you'll find it relevant or useful to you or not, I don't know. All I can do is put it out there. So I'll get down to the first one of the first questions on this list is this one. Your particular shooting positions, such as the retentive and combat shooting positions, which I did a video on, is something that most people have never seen before. Is this something you developed through the years or what? Well, it's certainly nothing that I developed, okay? Most of it is basically modeled off of the former center axis relock shooting system developed by the renowned police trainer Paul Castle back in the very late 1990s and early 2000. Okay, he taught it to certain active military units and certain active police officers. Now, it turned out to be highly successful, and it still is. Now, it's my understanding that this same type of training system is open to private civilians now, which is when I went through it, it was only open to active military and active law enforcement. But I understand now that they're taking private citizens, which is a good thing. Glad to see that. But anyway, Mr. Castle passed away in 2011, which is about a year before I retired from law enforcement. Since then, it has gone through several changes, mostly minor changes, and the shooting positions have all been renamed now. In fact, it's not even referred to as the CAR system or center axis relock. It's been renamed to something like the 360-degree defense system, I think, something like that. I may not have it just right. I don't know. I can't keep up with all the changes and the new names for each shooting position and stuff like that. So I just stick with what I was originally taught. Now, this shooting technique or system is not for every defensive situation, but it is extremely effective for most of those situations. All right. And I'm so out of practice that I can't even demonstrate the things properly anymore. But all I can do is what I can do. Okay, another one is in the last frequently asked questions segment, which was the first one, I guess. You mentioned that even Wolf steel case ammo was good practice ammo. Many people still insist that steel case ammo is harmful to your gun or pistol and can wear out the barrel a lot faster. So what's the truth? The fellow wants to know. Okay, you guys have probably heard that before, and maybe some of you are still hearing that from some people. That's just another unsubstantiated claim that has been floating around in the gun community for many years now that just won't die. Listen, the fact is, the bullets used are bimetal bullets. I'm talking about the bullet itself, okay? The bullet, not the cartridge or the case, the bullet. It's a bimetal bullet. It's comprised of a very soft, non-hardened steel and copper jacket over a lead core bullet. Okay, they are not steel core bullets at all, like a lot of people insist they are. They are lead core bullets. All right. Now, because the steel and copper jacket of the bullet is vastly softer, than the hammer forged and hardened barrel bore, there is literally no way the bullet itself can ever cause wear on the bore's rifling. Now, this is true with all bullets. Rifling is damaged not by a bullet, but by long-term intense heat through repeated firing, which eventually causes fissures in the steel of the throat area of the barrel, which leads to erosion. That's how barrels get worn out. It's not through friction. Now, the same is true with the steel cases of this ammo. Wolf ammo, Bernal ammo, Tula ammo, all that ammo made in Russia. It's steel cased ammo, okay? The type of steel here is not hard enough to wear out or damage the steel of any gun component, such as your extractor and ejector and things of that nature, if those components have been properly hardened, and most have. Now, you know, to be sure, your gun will be a lot more fouled up and dirty after going through a box of, you know, steel case ammo, simply because the steel case does not expand. It does not expand as much as a brass case does, which means that the case is not able to seal off the chamber good enough to prevent debris from blowing back through the chamber. It doesn't seal that wall good enough. Now, here's another myth I wanted to dispel. And the myth is the lacquer coating on the cartridge case melts off in the chamber and causes the cases to get stuck. Well, that's not at all true. It was and is not a lacquer coating. All right, it has always been an acrylic polymer coating, the first type being a clear one, and in the last decade or so, a more frosted polymer coating, used in order to ensure smooth feeding and extraction and offering improved chamber seal. All right. It's been shown that even with a blowtorch, that stuff cannot be melted off of. You cannot melt off that coating, even with a blowtorch. So don't worry about that. That's a myth. And only the Wolf ammo mil spec. Okay. The mil spec 7.62 by 39 uses a red lacquer water oil proof sealant around the primer and the case mouth. Sometimes you can find some that still have that. Now, just for your information, Wolf generally comes with Berdan primers, but the 45 ACP, the 40 Smith & Wesson, the 303 British, and the 6.5 Grendel use Boxer primers. All right. So this steel case ammo, while it does shoot dirty, is perfectly fine for your guns. Not going to harm your guns. If it does, there's probably something wrong with your gun, not the ammo. All right, another question. A while back you did a two-part segment regarding the decline of police competency. In those things, you cited several different training needs or skills that you believe cops everywhere must attend to. In your view, what are just the top 2 skills or training areas that cops should latch on to? Well, I think there's certainly more than just 2, but for purposes of this question, let's just take the issue of grip technique. Now, I know I'm always harping on this topic. Nevertheless, we know through common sense and video evidence that the grip technique being used by cops today, the thumbs all over the slide and everything, are causing malfunctions during deadly events at an alarming rate. This could cost a cop his life. That needs to change. You know, cops have much more firearms training than most private civilians. Yet under high stress, those cops are causing their gun to jam due to that grip method. So the obvious solution is to avoid using that grip technique. But that means a change in practice and training, both of which take time. But you have to commit to it. All right, another one another one might be the issue of panic firing. Now, this is a pet peeve of mine, and I'm seeing it happen more and more. Now, what is panic firing? Well, it's what most people refer to as mag dumping. It has become quite popular, disturbingly so, but it has become quite popular and common these days for a cop to literally empty an 18-round magazine of ammo into a single bad guy within the span of about 2 seconds. Now, the fact is that this is extremely dangerous. It puts everyone else in the vicinity at high risk of being hit by one or more of those shots, which are clearly missing the target altogether. Mag dumping is really nothing more than the cop in panic mode. Now, people that tend to panic are those that are not trained or not well trained, usually inexperienced, and that lack confidence in their tools and their skills. Cops must learn how to reassess the threat once the threat is down, as opposed to the current practice of simply continuing to empty their gun into the suspect while he's down. I mean, 2 magazines dumped into the downed bad guy, and all 14 cops, which are now present, are still afraid to approach him? I mean, something's way off here. Mag dumping is not badass, all right? It's not cool. It's dangerous. It's unjustifiable in most cases. It points to incompetence, and it needs to be controlled. If you think it's okay to require 18 bullets to down your offender, then I might suggest that you consider moving up to a more capable caliber and spending a little more time at the range. That's right, I said what I said. All right, last question, I think. You advocate shooting with flexed elbows, letting the elbows act as shock absorbers. Like that, right? Yet the vast majority of professional shooting trainers are teaching maximum extension of both arms while shooting. Which is correct, and do you have any other small tips of advice like this? Well, that really depends on which works best for you, okay? If maximum extension works best for you, okay. If flexed elbows work best for you, okay. Just know that when you use the maximum extension method, the recoil impulse moves your upper body, okay? Now you not only have to reacquire your sight picture, right? You got to get that sight back on target, but now you've also got to readjust your stance again. That's not necessary with flexed elbows. All right, your stance doesn't change because your upper body doesn't move. That's not moving your upper body. All you need to do then is just reacquire the sight picture. And the quickest way to acquire that sight picture and get another accurate shot is to avoid letting the front sight go below your target. All right, don't dip the muzzle down during recoil to try to get it back on target. Just push slightly out, not down, okay? Now, some people may disagree with me on the flexed elbows and about the body movement, upper body being moved back and forth like that. Well, why don't you ask Rob Latham that question, because he says the exact same thing I say. You want to argue with him about it? I'm just saying. All right, another tip concerns your grip. You need a hard, tight grip with both hands. Now, you'll hear some trainers say, all right, well, you need to get a 40% here and 60% grip pressure here. 40-60 or 70-30 or 50-50 or some shit like that. No, it should be 100% grip pressure here, 100% grip pressure here. An equal amount, not a divided amount, and both gripping at 100% capability. Grip like hell, grip like hell. Not 40 here and 60 here. Okay? All right, boys, that's it for this segment. I hope some of this made sense to you or helped you out in some little way. You know, so thanks for watching. I'm Antonius, and this is Shooting It Straight. Ciao.